Yo, what's up everybody? Holding Ice with you here, bringing you Black Clover manga review. This was chapter 207, titled The Ultimate Magic. This chapter was a build-up chapter, but it was a very hype build-up chapter. The devil was fighting Asta, and he slapped Asta away, and he throws all these blades at him. Some magical and some physical, to confuse Asta, because, you know, he's not gonna know which ones to take down first, and there was too many. But Lynch and Lemire stepped in and they blocked most of them. And then we have this cute moment between the Wizard King, Lemire, and Sakri, where she heals his arm, and she starts thinking back of when Lemire used to say, "There's no such thing as a non-interested magic. As long as you train it and evolve it, you can do many possibilities, and that's the beauty of magic." Now, that's how I'm putting it, but he used different words, but I'm just paraphrasing. But she started thinking of that, and she looks at Asta, and Asta's like very impressed that she's able to do that, and he was like, he compliments her, and then he was like, "I have a feeling that I already met you before, have I?" And she ends up peeking his cheeks. It's like, "Don't worry about this, worry about the fight ahead of you." And we have Lynch there, and we basically find out that we have like a time limit, because if you remember, a couple of chapters back, the devil made this oversized plant, and it's growing, and it keeps eating mana, and the more mana it eats, and the more powerful mana it eats, the more it grows. And anything that's living that touches it gets its mana, which is life force, drained from it. Asta's an exception because he has anti-magic, but everything else is not an exception. So he's like, if you don't hurry up and defeat me, everything in this Clover Kingdom is going to die by this plant that's growing. So Lynch decided to pull off like a final Judgment Sword type friendship power up, and it was really awesome. As you see in one of my thumbnails, it's the Demon Ruin Dweller Sword Ultimate Magic Attack, and he slams him with it, and he was able to evaporate the plant and him, and the only thing that was left was the heart. But the heart grew a mouth and said regen, and then he just automatically would come back to life, the devil. And it was like, damn, that was my ultimate attack. And the devil, when he came back, of course his plant came back as well. And while Lynch was gathering the energy, we did get to see what the other characters are doing. Charmy actually won her fight, and you have her being like, yeah, this is the power of revenge of food. Then you have Naza with the healer chick, Mimosa, and they're together, and Mimosa's giving off information saying there's a whole bunch of powerful energy somewhere else. Then you have Captain Figolian, and he's gathering two people, and he's running away from the plants, trying to find a safe spot. And then you have Captain Charlotte and Captain Yami stuck together, and it looked like the ball that they're in is getting closer, so they're like really close up together. It's really funny seeing that. But as that progressed, at the end the attack failed. But Asta, we had this one panel where he sees this, and he's like, damn, this is his power. This is the true power of someone who could use magic while using that sword. That's something that I cannot do. And he felt kind of bad. And then you guys see in my other thumbnail, he grabs his sword like this, and he's like, well, maybe because I don't have magic, my anti-magic is stronger. Let me try to tap full force into it. And that was basically the end of the chapter. But it's very interesting to see that Asta is basically tapping into the full power of that anti-magic. Now we know Asta has a demon or a devil, one of them, still in him. So most likely that's what we're going to see him use. And that's going to be very interesting to see how that power works and what he does with it. I'm going to be very intrigued. I wouldn't be surprised if he grows another wing and he has the other horn, looking more devil-like. Maybe this is the power he's going to need to actually beat this devil, is the power of the devil himself. I don't think he's going to give in to his devil, but that's most likely what it's leading up to. And you also have the part when he's charging up, you have Lynch looking back like right at Asta, like when he does that attack, and you also have Petrie and Yuno in front of him looking back as well when he charged up. So they probably thinking to themselves, wow, what power is this, and why does it feel similar to, you know, this guy? But something else I want to bring up that I almost forgot that's very important is, in the beginning of the chapter when he see Lynch fighting, he did state that he had like this admiration for him and that he's very, very powerful. But he felt this warmness in his heart towards him, and he couldn't understand why he felt this way towards Lynch. Maybe this is proof that Lynch is actually his father. There's been, I'm not the first one to say this, but maybe when Lynch's wife died, the reincarnation of her son in her would probably, and he's probably the reincarnation of that. And maybe that's why when he became an elf reincarnation, that's maybe the reason why he didn't, wake up and he still had his memories. Maybe because he's the reincarnation of Lynch's son, and he has the memory of Lynch's son, maybe that's why when he woke up, he couldn't be controlling the other elves when they were reincarnated, how they woke up with anger and rage. And maybe that's why he's the difference, because he's the son of the leader, which is Lynch. Which we still need to tie in Asta. How is he all part of this? Is he related to Lynch as well? Because we saw in the elf flashback, we see two elves that look like and Asta, so just throwing that out there as well. But this was a very interesting chapter. Interesting stuff all the way. I'm very, very surprised to see what's going to happen next week. Again, it was a build-up chapter, but very good. Chapter 207 of Black Clover. Really great stuff. Can't wait for next week. But that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Give this video a like. Follow me on Twitter, link me down below, and tell me down below what you liked and didn't like about the chapter, and what you hyped for, and what you think Asta's form's gonna look like. I think it's gonna look like something like from Bleach. If you remember when Ichigo went for Rastolore, he had the two horns and the hollow hole. Maybe it's gonna be something like that. He's gonna have two horns and two wings, and maybe instead of having like a hollow hole, he had like a black marker somewhere in his chest where the blackness is growing out rather than his body. That's just my theory. But again, guys, that's all I have for you. Peace out. Have a good one.